Tansei! Welcome, everybody. I've just said welcome in Michif language. I'm Derrick Whiteskycloud, your host. This is Metis Matters Radio on CFRO 100.5FM. And it's been one heck of a busy week for me and everyone, actually. So, yeah, I got some pretty cool things to share with everybody, but I want to also thank all of my Facebook Live people and as well as those who are actually watching us, Facebook Live. Welcome to the chat room, folks. Also, we have, what else is coming up? Oh, God. Let's basically talk about the past. I want to thank everybody for my birthday wishes back in last Saturday. I worked that day on Saturday, by the way. That was crazy. But I still worked and enjoyed my day. I was out actually selling my wares, my Metis. I'm a Metis artisan, so I sell my wares over at the Woodward's Atrium and had a lot of fun doing it. But the night before was actually kind of funny. I'm going to share this with all my listeners as well as Mark. I mean, Mark's going to actually laugh his butt off, but I caused a couple to break up over my birthday cake. Yes, guys. Yep. I caused a couple to break up over my birthday cake.
Wow.
They actually went out and they were going to surprise me. Apparently, the fellow a friend of mine, his name is Johnny, and he took his girlfriend with him, and they're going to get me a birthday cake. Now, normally most people have a traditional cake. Well, this time it wasn't a traditional cake. It was actually, he knew very well that I love strawberry shortcake, so he went out to the store without his girlfriend, just went in there, and he went to the store and got me a strawberry shortcake, and he brought it out, and he showed to his girlfriend that he's going to give me a strawberry shortcake, and they're going to come over to give me this gift of a strawberry shortcake, and as well as a little shot of something that, it's homemade wine. So I thought it'd be great. So they're supposed to be coming over around 9 o'clock. No Johnny. And I thought, okay, so I get a phone call. I'm on my way. I'm really late. Okay, I'll tell you all about it when I get to your place. So he says, you still up for being hanging around? Yeah, I'm here. So he shows up a little after 10:30. So he opened the door, walk in. Where's your girlfriend? Well, we need to talk about that part. Okay. So he's explaining the story that he went in, got the cake, came out, and the girlfriend he has is not Metis. She's actually Hungarian. And I'm not blaming Hungarian. That's the way she was brought up in her own country, and she got mad at him when he showed her the strawberry shortcake. She says to him, "That's not a proper birthday cake. That's not what you call a birthday cake. That is nothing. You're supposed to have a fruit flan. That's the real traditional birthday cake. In my country, that's what we give." And I guess she got so mad at him. I don't know what it was about really, but they're like competition between cakes. Now, I can't figure that part out, but all I know is that Johnny she just got him all upset, and he just went over to the garbage can, threw my strawberry shortcake in the garbage. He goes, "Well, then you go get it." So she goes into the store, she comes out, buys the fruit flan cake, shoves it into his chest, smushed it all up inside the container, and she says, "I'm done with you. We're breaking up." And she left.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow.
And I go like, "Really?" So he says, "She broke up with me over your birthday cake." Okay, fine. I said, "Well, you guys need to work things out." So it's apparently that night, and I guess a couple of days later, I could see on Facebook that Johnny's talking about, "Oh yeah, we got back together again. We're going to go for a walk in the forest, and when we're done, we're going to go stop over and have a cup of tea at this restaurant." I wrote back in my reply, "No cake." Because that cake got you in trouble, buddy.
No cake.
Yeah, that's what happens. So, but I mean, she was a headstrong girl. I mean, we're talking about her being an Aries. I mean, okay, you want to talk about Aries? My wife is an Aries. They're headstrong people. The women are headstrong when you're Aries. Don't mess with an Aries woman. That you just don't. Just give them their room and let them do what they want to do. So from now on, Johnny, if you're going to be with his girlfriend the rest of your life, here's my advice. marry her. And then I'll give you a sympathy card. Anyways, no, but she's nice. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys again. But the thing is that, yeah, relationships have to work out that way, you know. I mean, but I've never ever had anybody break up a relationship over my birthday cake or anyone's birthday cake. I mean, I can see it. People are at a party, and if they don't get along, they break up at a birthday party. You know, that's fine. But they broke up over my cake. I mean, it was too funny to think about it. Too funny. Absolutely funny. So we have some current events coming up and in the community all over the Lower Mainland, from Vancouver to the Lower Mainland. And one of them, to give a big shout out to FRAFCA. And that is the Fraser Regional Aboriginal Friendship Center. They're putting on an event, a fundraiser. It's called Guiding Youth Home, and that's the third annual fundraising gala. Many youth struggle with transition into adulthood on their own, and currently there are very few options for them to receive the help they need. Providing a supportive home, space, and services and can be life-changing. Together we can make this goal a reality. So they're selling tickets for $60 per person, or a table of 8 at $400. And you can buy your tickets at the Eventbrite on the website, Guiding Youth Home, or write a check to the Fraser Region Aboriginal Friendship Center Association. And it'll be taking place at the ARIA Banquet Hall and Convention Center, 12350 Petula Place in Surrey. That's just off the bridge, folks. So it's not, you don't jump off the bridge, just around the bridge. And Saturday, November the 10th, and the doors open at 5 and opening ceremonies at 6. And if you want to get a hold of the people to be part of this, it's worth your while. It's a really nice, great group of people that I've actually got to know. And the person you want to get a hold of is Kayla Baines, Kayla. And the phone number is 604-996-9602. That's 604-996-9602. And that's one of our events coming up. Also, too, we have Little Moccasins Drop-In, and it's actually the last Friday of every month. And again, it's at the Friendship Center in Surrey, Fraser Regional Aboriginal Friendship Center Association, and it's on the last Friday of every month from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And you gotta get to call them to confirm attendance in this 2 days prior to program. And also, it's based on the Aboriginal Infant Development Program Drop-In. Little Moccasin is a drop-in program developed by a team of Aboriginal Infant Development consultants from the Fraser Region Aboriginal Friendship Center. We serve as Aboriginal families with children aged 0 to 3 years old. Our drop-in programs will provide a play-based environment for families to connect with infant development services as well as community resources. Age-appropriate activities will enable the consultants to help families to get an overview at their child's development and needs. And this is, do you have any questions about your child's development or challenging behavior? Do you wonder if your child is reaching their milestones? Do you need help assessing resources for your child? And do you want some ideas and resources for your child to connect culturally? Our children are our gifts from the Creator, and it is our responsibility to help them grow to be strong as cedar trees. And then you fill them with secure roots and fill them with the branches of knowledge and love and culture. And this is who you contact. Again, you can contact the center at 604-594-1170, 595, not 594. 604-595-1170, 604-595-1170, and just mention to them, call Little Moccasins Drop-In, and how you can be part of the program for your little ones. So we're going to throw in a song, and let's see here. I'm going to play up one of the, I guess you'd say, Andrew Menard's song is called Metis Hands. Andrea's almost done her plays up in Eastern Canada. She's up in Nova Scotia, as far as I remember now. She's doing a play. She's here for almost 5 months. And she's been on stage a lot, all through the whole week. And when looking at some of her photographs and some of it's really cool. And basically, it's all two time period stories, and it's really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing her return. When she does come back, I want to actually interview her here in the studio and talk to her regarding how it all worked out regarding that. But this is Andrew Menard, Metis Hands. CFRO 100.5 FM. Whoops. For some reason, it didn't do that. Let's do it again.
I need to crank it.
I did. Hang on. There we go.
When the voyageurs first came, ils n'attendaient pas d'être pères. Of a new nation sur une vieille terre, ils travaillaient si fort, ils étaient si fiers of their newfound
Fun sneaking
family.
in a few Halloween
Dont
tunes on the show
jouisseur,
today. Feast of the Feast.
tu es frère.
Halloween tunes, yeah, like Feast of the Mom, Outlet Street.
Look at
Hawkins,
these Métis
House of Teenage Werewolf by the Cramps.
Hold these
Yeah, I like sneaking.
Métis
I
hands.
mean, people at Cobra, it's just such party poopers. It's like,
We
oh, Halloween,
all
fuck
held
that. No one else really
together
does that. It's
by
like, what the hell's
love.
wrong with you people?
I dressed up
By
as
this
Wolfman when I
land.
was 19.
Yeah.
I made a
We
own
are
costume.
family.
They're like, what a bunch of uptight buggers, you know?
We're all family.
We're all uptight.
Well, I love it when, you know, the red-eye people,
When
one
the
of them
winds
says, you know, I
of
like,
change
Mark is a good show, I just don't
were
like the music he plays. Well, gee, you know, this
The
music ain't being
ladies
played on
praise
commercial
the
radio either,
wind.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, rock and roll hasn't ruled the roost in a long
They
time.
opened
It's been
up their
bad hip-hop and
hearts
dance music
and
for a long time on
homes
the
and
commercial stations.
took the
Operative word being bad
strangers in.
hip-hop and dance music.
Elle prévoyait
They want their pop stars.
l'avenir. They saw their baby's eyes, burnt wood faces under prairie skies. Look in these Métis eyes, hold these Métis hands. We're all held together by love, by this land. We are family. We're all family. Écoutez mes enfants, l'histoire vous appartient. C'est écrit dans la ceinture fléchée, c'est écrit dans vos mains. Children, listen, the future's in your hands. Weave together our story, strand by strand. Look in these Métis eyes, hold these Métis hands. We're all held together by love, by this land. We are family. We're all family. Nous sommes famille.
Whoa! I always love her music. She's quite the singer. Yes. That's Andrea Menard, Métis Hands. She talks about her lifestyle and what it was like to be a Métis person when you're young, and you know so many things you do when you did when you were a kid growing up, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, what I always explain to people, and in my history growing up, I mean, I'm in my 60s now. I just turned 62. Some people say I don't look like 62. Some people say, "Oh, you look older than that." That's okay. You know, I always tell people I turned 62, but you don't smell that bad. Basically, when I was a kid growing up, I mean, we all lived different lifestyles. I mean, I'm myself as a kid growing up, and when my parents decided to have families, you know, we all come together as big families and have our fun, and we're, you know, kitchen parties, so to speak. or house parties, and the furniture's going outside, not in the rain, but we're going outside, and then we're dancing inside. There's guitars coming in the building. There's actually fiddles coming in the building. There's, there's so many people that came in, even people that my mom and dad would have met that were even playing in the bars. And my parents would actually invite all of the bands, live bands, into our house. And after the bars closed, and they come in, and then actually there's an all-night party until all hours of the morning. But that was fun. Very little alcohol. It was mostly just being there and having fun. And us kids used to hear the music upstairs or wherever you are. It was fun. And you would hear a lot of spoons playing, You'd hear all of a sudden the drawers are all empty. Someone's playing the spoons. I remember a friend of mine one time that said, "Do you guys ever try to play forks?" Forks don't work. We tried. It's too tinny. Doesn't have a bigger sound like the spoons. But that was a lot of fun to do a lot of being part of the house and growing up in a tradition way. There was never a specific way. I mean, my grandmother's from the East Coast, from Bear River Reservation, Nova Scotia. She's a Ojibwe Mi'kmaq. And the crazy part of it is I wanted to tell a story because what I felt is important that people need to know. I just got an editorial sent to me just recently, and I wanted to share with everybody, and I'm sure some of you may have read it, some of you may have not, but here's something I was kind of concerned about, very concerned about, because to me it relates to my ancestors, and we are considered ourselves Métis in the East Coast. I mean, I'm for some reason the Métis National Council is still trying to tell all of us, myself, how I grew, or how I was supposed to grow up, and then I'm not supposed to be Métis, and I'm supposed to be just Red River only. And now, mind you, Ken Fisher, when he was here in the studio, I'm sure Mark can tell you, you got to be Red River or you're not Métis.
You're not legit.
You're not legit. And until just recently, before Ken passed away, I would say the last couple of years, when he met up with other Métis from Eastern Canada, Nova Scotia region, he became a little more open about it. He wasn't so closed off. And this is what the BC Métis Federation was doing. They were trying to open the doors for a lot of us Métis that are from the Eastern Coast, because we're coming. I mean, let's put it this way: Riel did not come. His family did not come just from Manitoba. His family came from Montreal. His family came way back off the shores before they came up this way. So this tells you and tells me there's way more to the Métis than most people think. And I've got some proof here in documentation. So I want to share with you a memorandum that was sent, that was actually it's a column, a news column, and it says Mi'kmaq Chiefs and Métis National Council 2018. In a memorandum of understanding released Wednesday, the Mi'kmaq Chiefs and the Métis National Council said that they will work together to educate the public about what will they call the legitimate Métis Nation. Legitimate? Really? And Mi'kmaq issues. They expressed concern with what they called a growing number of people misrepresenting themselves as Métis and using these claims to try to access Aboriginal and treaty rights. The only rights holders in Nova Scotia are the Mi'kmaq. Chief Terrence Paul, co-chair of the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs, and stated in the statement, "We are the original peoples of these lands, and we have spent decades establishing our treaty and Aboriginal rights and then working on the implementation of these rights." But Dumont said the allegations questioning the Eastern Métis claims are misleading and unfounded. She argues that the origin of the Eastern Métis dates back hundreds of years and that the agreement is about division, not unity. She added that the Memorandum of Understanding is a sad manipulation of Eastern Canada's Indigenous peoples. Our research proves the 17th century birth of Eastern Métis Nation and its survival despite oppression and genocide through countless wars and conflicts, Dumont said. We don't identify as Mi'kmaq, but as Métis of Mi'kmaq ancestry, among other nations. Census data show the number of people who call themselves Métis soared nearly 125% in Nova Scotia from 2006 to 2016. With dozens of new Métis groups cropping up over the The same period, early this year, 4 Nova Scotia Métis groups formed an alliance. The Highland Métis Nation, the Bras d'Or Unamaki Voyageur, the Eastern Shore Métis Nation, and the Association des Canadiens Métis Sauvageois signed a friendship treaty in July. A press release at the time said the 4 Eastern Métis organizations would work together on a number of issues, including historical and genealogical research, education bursaries and scholarships, and improving relationships between the Mi'kmaq and the Métis in Nova Scotia. A spokeswoman and counsel for the Canadian Métis Association said Thursday that members of the group fully acknowledge and support the identity, treaty rights, and sovereignty of the Mi'kmaq and the Métis Nation. However, it should be understood that the Canadian Métis have their own identity, history, and culture distinct from either, and are also rights-bearing peoples as descendants of the Mi'kmaq, who signed the Peace and Friendship Treaty in 1725 and 1726, and all subsequent ratifications. Daphne Williamson said in an email, rather than compete with other rights-bearing groups, they wish to work collaboratively in the spirit of mutual understanding and respect. Now, the chief of one of the largest Eastern Métis groups is condemning an agreement between the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq chiefs and the Métis National Council, saying it creates unnecessary harm and anguish. This is a terrible precedent for Métis in Canada, regardless of differences of political opinion between BC Métis Federation and Métis National Council. This act dismisses local knowledge or actual Métis people that are in Nova Scotia. Now, the Métis National Council, as zero members in Nova Scotia, and has been on public record dismissing any Métis identification unless you are from parts of Ontario, westward, and with only parts of BC. So how then is this agreement have any relevance and why would the First Nations? So building capacity through knowledge capital is the only way for Métis self-determined communities to better understand how their laws are rooted in a community belongings and inter-societal traditions, kinship networks, and extended relationships to the environment. This is a sad turn of events. BC Métis Federation continues to be shocked by the efforts of the Métis National Council and the chiefs in Nova Scotia, with recent efforts to sign an MOU, which is to suggest that there is no Métis, and that's what they said, no Métis in Nova Scotia. The act by the Métis National Council to sign an agreement with no local community engagement in Nova Scotia speaks to the dishonest and unethical tactics employed by the leadership of that organization. We hope people realize the true dysfunction. You take this letter written by Mi'kmaq Elder in 2000. He himself knows there was mixed blood people that shaped and formed Nova Scotia with intermarriages in the 1700s and 1800s. He states why people may not like accepting that there are Métis there, and this was written 18 years ago. This latest action supports this approach and is wrong. Ask yourself why the Métis National Council and the chiefs would agree to signing an MOU that affected our Indigenous people with whom neither have any of the relationship with. Now, we have these chiefs who would never let other First Nations organizations from outside Nova Scotia sign agreements that affects them with their input. So why do they have this double standard against the Métis organizations there? Terrible policy and shameful behavior. The Métis are diverse, and Métis National Council uses their federal political allies to manipulate these situations and maintain a one-window approach to who is Métis in Canada. Governments talk about inclusion, but regardless of the challenges, there is no doubt Métis people in Nova Scotia believe they are Métis mixed blood in their culture and the way of life, and this must be protected. Now, the letter that was written that many years ago, back in the year 2000, folks, I've got a copy of that letter. It's written here under the Indian Act, Lands Claims, Banned Government, and other related Native issues, and the address is actually 28 Elmsdale Crescent, Halifax, Nova Scotia, July 17th, 2000. It says, Dear Sir, first I would like to congratulate you for the establishment of the Confederacy of Nova Scotia Métis. It's a great thing to observe that people are coming to realize that they are having Mi'kmaq or other First Nations blood in their veins is something to be proud of and not be ashamed of, as was the case in the past. The number of members you have is not surprising to me, because I believe that from the 17th and 18th century, intermarriages, a great number of Acadians, perhaps the majority, have Mi'kmaq blood in them. In response to your question about Section 35, I would say at the moment that the answer is probably no. However, the section is so lacking in concise language that the Supreme Court of Canada will probably be involved in future years in defining beneficiaries to such rights. The danger for all here is that at some point, if the number of errors become too great, we may see the courts declare us all assimilated, and that would be ended for everyone. Information-wise, a new edition of my book, We Were Not the Savages, and 21st Century edition will be released on October the 1st, and it contains a great deal of information about the Acadian-Mi'kmaq relationship, which I believe you and the Acadian community will find most interesting. Keep in touch. All the best. And that's actually Vandal and Paul, and he actually was the chief. Now, this is the thing, folks. It's Clem Charshade who's actually made sure that we don't have any Métis identity. That's why they wrote the MOU. Because it's almost just like saying you don't exist. You're just a nobody. And that's exactly what they're done. Number one, let me tell you something, folks. Métis National Council is not even an organization. They're just a bunch of people gathered together. They're just going to tell you who they want, what they want, and when they want. And they're the ones that ask for money from the government, and the government gives it to them. They don't give us money. When we're needing monies for our community, your Métis community, say with the BC Métis Federation and all that, seldom do they ever get it. Why? Because MMBC is with the Métis National Council. They're part of that. And many people can actually tell you that the only reason why they're trying to keep all of us from being part of this Métis community, because it's all to do with money. Because when you start handing out more money to other Métis communities, they get lesser money, and that's what makes them. They get really greedy. I'm sorry, I've got a big mouth, but it's all to do with greed. When you want to talk about Métis, when I'm out there, I'm actually the Métis Cultural Director of the Michif Historical and Cultural Preservation Society. I teach Métis history. I go to the schools. I teach Métis history. I go to a lot of conventions. I go to a lot of events. International events. I meet hundreds of thousands of people, okay? I meet so many people from all over BC, all over as much as I can, whether it's Alberta, Saskatchewan, you name it. I meet them and I talk to them, and we talk about Métis history. We talk about our Métis. We don't always talk about Louis Riel. We talk about Métis, or about being Métis, and their relatives. I like meeting other Métis people or mixed blood people, however you want to categorize yourself. I like meeting those people because we talk about our families and what we did when we were kids growing up. And that's the good part of it. That's why this radio show is called Métis Matters Radio, because Métis matters. It's not Métis doesn't matter. And this is what the Métis National Council is doing. Métis doesn't matter to them. As far as they're concerned, and I grew up with Métis music. I grew up with a fiddle. You can't take that out of me. You can't change that. I'm not your typical. I wasn't just a cowboy kid. I was on the farm. I was raised this way. Right? I went to residential school. When they found out I had native blood in me, holy crap. Back in the 60s, I went to residential school. I was taken out. So you can't say to me that it didn't happen. That doesn't make any sense. You know, I myself, as a Métis person, I was proud of being Métis. I was always told, be proud of who you are, that you got the mixed blood because you have all identities. There's so many kids. I'm not talking about just even being Métis person. There's so many young kids out there today that have got Asian blood mixed with European blood. There's kids out there with Filipino blood mixed with Asian blood. There's kids out there mixed with all kinds of different kinds of bloods, different kinds of mixes. Doesn't make them Métis, but the word Métis means mixed blood. Doesn't mean they're indigenous. Just means that that's exactly who they are. Now, but yet, they all take pride of who they are with an identity. And so a lot of my viewers, a lot of my listeners take great pride of who they are because they're proud of who they are, where they're raised, things they've done as kids growing up, their parents, grandparents. They always tell them stories. That's what this being Métis is about. If it isn't about that, it's about music, right? So the song I want to share with you today, right now, is actually one of the older songs, and this song was actually recorded by Michael Audette, and he's actually the grandson of Alex Qadir. And big shout out to my good friend out there. This man here is 87 years old, young, and he made this CD for me to play to honor his grandson, Michael Audette, and that's what I'm going to do. So he was 60 years of age when he did the CD in 2009. So this song right now we're playing is called Katie Ray Swing.
That's a Gibson.
Join me, Derrick Whiteskycloud. I am your host every Wednesday night from 5 to 6 p.m. for Métis Matters Radio, where we discuss why Métis matters and the worldwide matters of Métis people. From the past to the present, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on Vancouver's Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5FM. Yeah, we're back, and yes, this is CFRO 100.5 FM, Métis Matters Radio. Hope you guys like my little promo. I like
You
having
said
fun.
promo this time.
I'm a promo. Yeah, not a commercial. We're promo. Yeah, see, here's the crazy part. The reason I'm saying that because I do another radio show and we use a commercial at another place. So, yeah, that's why I have to
Online.
remind myself. Yeah, online.
It's kind of like a guy I watch on YouTube, Jimmy Dore. He has his own show, but he also does Young Turks, which I stopped watching because I thought they lost credibility. I like him better. I think a lot of people think he should leave, actually. Young Turks. It's a weird thing, this political business.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's gone crazy. Even like they're all going nuts. They all want to be like each other. They're all following each other up and getting heavy in politics.
Yep.
I mean, I got some politics in here, but I share it, done, and that's it. I voice my opinion, and then I like the response from the public to let me know what you guys think. Anything that even regarding this letter or column that I actually had shared with you today. I like to hear from you guys. You can always tell me, share with me. You can always contact MétisMattersRadio@gmail.com and voice your opinion. Love to hear from you because that's what I do is I reply back to everybody and let them know what's happening out there. If you also want to promote yourself and you as a recording artist or an actor in the media field, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you got something happening as far as in the Métis community concerned, we'd love to hear from you. Actually, again, I can share that with you on the program, or even have you here in the studio, or even interview you on the phone. It's an all across Canada thing. I don't think I've actually interviewed anybody from the States on this show, but never know. One day may even happen because there's also Métis across the border, and according to the government over there, you have to have quantum blood. Yes, we bleed. They bleed across the border, but we don't bleed over here. Quantum blood. Yeah, it's interesting. That was Michael Audette that just played a little earlier, and it's kind of interesting. You're playing music that goes way back a long time ago. And like Mark was saying, you got that guitar, you got that piano, you got that, just still got the fiddle. But all those musical instruments still fit in. People still think they're still trying to still stay with the old time theme, and that's why I try to promote as many people from the past as well as the present, and that's really strongly supportive. Any kind of music, any genre, we're always trying to. I mean, I love listening to music from the time back in the 60s and 70s. Mark was even mentioned earlier that he also plays. He's also playing some of the old Halloween songs or music on his program. And
nobody else seems to, though.
Well, you know
They're
what?
a bunch of party poopers here, man.
I'll sneak some into my own.
Okay.
I got some old time music. Monster Mash.
Sneak in the Bonzo Dog Band's version because everyone plays the other one to death.
What's that?
The Bonzo Dog Band do a really good version of it.
Really?
Yeah, because they do play to death at the other stations. I try to avoid stuff that they play to death elsewhere.
They got that one, and also I bet you got one. I've got one that you guys never even heard. It's called "They're Here."
They're here.
They're here. They are. They are. They are. They're here. They really are. I saw them. I did. And I actually listened to that song back in 1969. I remember that song. It's all about spacemen, little greenie guys. So today we're going to be talking also about the Moose High campaign, and that's coming up also. And those of you that have been participating in it the last couple of years, this is basically the Moose High campaign is a grassroots movement of Indigenous and non-Indigenous men and boys that are standing up against violence towards women and children. And when you wear this moose hide significance, your commitment to honor, and now you'll see me in the studio, I got mine right here on my lapel, like on my leather jacket. That's the piece of moose hide, cut moose hide on a pin. And it's basically signifies to commitment to honor, respect, and protect the women and children in your life, and to work together with other men and boys to end against violence against women and children. And he helps spread the Moose High campaign by sharing with your family, communities, and organizations. Now, this is something that, folks, that you need to understand, too. This actually started from the very beginning, way back in Burns Lake. And I was a father and daughter that started this a few years back, and it became a big hit. And so their mission is to goal is to end violence towards women and children. To help achieve this, and the Moose High campaign will distribute 10 million Moose Hide squares across Canada. That's a lot of moose. The good thing it's not a big square. It's one moose per 10 million. But no, they eat the meat. Nothing's wasted. Everything's useful. we will stand up with women and children, and we'll speak out against violence towards them, and we'll support each other as men, and we'll hold each other accountable, and we'll teach our young boys about true meaning of love and respect, and we will be healthy role models for them, and we will heal ourselves as men, and we'll support our brothers on our healing journey, and we encourage for you to take action and make that pledge and stand up against violence towards women and children. And if you folks ever see this a lot on TV, you always hear, or whether in any kind of media, you'll actually hear a story about a man hitting a woman or boys hitting girls, even in school, to get bullied. And that's something that we're trying to stop from happening. It's still happening to this day. And it's getting a little bit, I would like to say it's not getting worse. It has gotten worse. And I think because of the influence of someone across the border in the United States that's making it where this man has encouraged other men to hurt women. And I don't like that idea. He thinks he's importantly, I guess he thinks he's the person. I'm sorry, but I've been watching some of his stuff, and that's not cool. And I'm not going to mention his name because everybody knows who he's talking about. So one of the most important things that we can do to help end violence against women and children is to promote gender equity, healthy relationships and positive ideas of masculinity by speaking out against gender-based violence. And then also Indigenous women are 3 times more likely to experience domestic violence with non-Indigenous women, and 3 times more likely than non-Indigenous women to be killed by someone they know. And too many of our wives, daughters, sisters, aunties, mothers, grandmothers are not safe in their own home, and too many have been murdered or missing. And it's time for us to change this. And this is a cycle of violence that came from residential schools, racism against our peoples, and colonization. It was never in our culture to do violence to women and children in our families and communities. It was always our responsibility to protect them. So that's something that we are trying to do as much as possible to share with the public and our listeners. So I'll thank everybody for standing up. And if you want to, you can actually look on the website, moosehidecampaign.com, and you'll find it. moosehidecampaign.com, and read about it. I mean, it'd be interesting. And it's happening on this upcoming week, on the 18th, 19th, and I think they're going to be doing it. They're traveling across Canada with this, so you'll see a lot. Now, I'm going to throw another song on, and the song's called Metis Man, and actually the band's called Nicely Put Together Band.
Cool.
Nicely Put Together Band. Yeah. Metis Man.
I actually found they're here. Boots Walker, 1967.
Yes,
All queued up on YouTube.
We'll play that one right after Metis Man.
Cool.
Okay, here we go.
I was born a Metis, born on Metis land. Raised on a settlement, proud to be a Metis man. Well, today I work in white man's world. I met a Metis girl. Mukat wikat wikat Simon. Kakek kipit neyawan. Makani kingi nagatin. Punya na eteskeyan. I was born a Metis, born on Metis land. Raised on a settlement, proud to be a Metis man. Well, today I work in white man's world. I met a Metis girl.
Do you have the largest phone? Promote redjams.com.
Never spoke a word of English, 'cause Cree was all I ever knew. Well, I left my home just to roam, doing things like white folks do. I was born a Metis, born a Metis. land.
I'm the biggest kid in the world.
Raised on a settlement, proud to be a man.
He never had a chance to grow up.
Well, today
Too
I
much of a
work
hurry.
in white man's
His
world.
father taught him to be a
I
man.
met
yeah.
a Metis girl. Yeah, today I work in white man's world. I met a Metis girl.
We're talking about records. You know what? There's somebody else keep following the shit out of this.
Oh, come on, Mark. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here. It's going to be close to Halloween coming up, folks, and I think you guys ever seen Martians in the sky or flying saucers in the sky? I think they're here. They're here.
They're here, they are, they're here, they really are. I saw them, I saw them, I really did. They come at night, they sneak at night, they take the power from our lights. They fly around without a sound and scare those little towns. They watch us when we eat and walk, they analyze the way we talk. They're watching us, they are, they're watching, yes they are. From Maine to California, up in Michigan too. They're seen all around the world by millions, it's true. Those little weirdo things in their fire machines, I'm telling you, they're watching you. They're here, they are, they're here, they really are. I saw them, I saw them, I really did. Little people are. Don't ever try to look in their eyes, I guarantee they'll hypnotize. They'll make you feel it's just a dream and take you in their machine. From Maine to California, up in Michigan too. They're seen all around the world by millions, it's true. Those little weirdo things in their flying machines, I'm telling you, they're watching you. They're here, they are, they're here, they really are. I saw them, I saw them, I really did. Little people are.
CFRO 100.5 FM, that's Boots Walker. They're here. 1967, I think.
Yep.
1967. I was 11 years old.
On the Rust Records label.
Yeah. And you know what? Somebody actually snuck in something in there because it said bootswalker.com.
He's still here.
He's still here.
He's here.
He's here.
He is.
He's here. I just want to throw that in there. I think it's a great idea. Let's shake people up a little bit. It is Halloween, and I know a lot of you, Halloween's coming up. I'm sure everybody else wants to dress up as something. But I want to give you guys a bit of advice. Don't dress up as an Indigenous person. Dress up as something else. Superhero, whatever, but don't dress up as an Indigenous person, like not as a Métis, not a First Nations person, because you're not impressing us. But we do have some galleries out there, some of those rental stores or purchasing stores, and they actually are selling Indigenous clothing for Halloween, and even all the makeup and you name it, the hair, and really, I didn't know we were actually a costume, but clowning around. Also, I'm sure everybody knows this, Cannabis Week. Yes, coming up, the bill, it's getting that close now, and everybody wants to smoke it up. And I got this thing sent to my mail. It says getcannabisclarity.ca. And I'm going like, are you joking? Safe kids, health, safe communities, safe homes, safe roads, safe travel. Really? Now, safe kids. You must be 19 years old or older to buy, possess, use, or grow cannabis in BC. Now, if you got kids in the house and you're smoking a joint and they're younger than 19, is that secondhand smoke? This is, I don't know. And here's one thing that's going to happen. I'll be honest with you guys. This is what happened. So it's actually almost like, it sounded like actually dead air for a second. I'm stunned because everyone's going to smoke up. Everyone all over BC is going to smoke up all at once. And you watch, there's going to be a guy showing up in a wheelbarrow with a whole pile of cannabis in it, walking down the street, burning it, and everyone's going to get high in Vancouver. It's not sage, it's not sweetgrass, it is going to be pot. You watch. Someone's going to show up, burning it, and it'd be like that. There's a newspaper reporter or some reporter actually was a witness to these soldiers or police officers that are burning this piles and piles of marijuana in the field. And the reporter himself, by the end of the reporting column, he actually was higher than the people that actually were smoking it. Go figure that one. But expect that, folks. It's going to happen. And actually, there's a fellow in our chat room, and Robert says kids as young as 13 in South Wales are actually selling the marijuana on the streets. 13, yeah. So, anyways, I was going to actually get Gennarji to phone in regarding Red Jam Slam, but we got Red Jam Slam coming up, folks, and I'm sure that she's talked about that quite a lot. She's a good friend of ours on other Indigenous programs, and we're trying to we're trying to share that within the public. There's so many things happening in the community everywhere throughout BC, but it's. I was just laughing here just a few minutes ago before thinking about the story about my cake issue, where supposedly Johnny or his girlfriend broke up with him, and I used to use that joke called "Let them eat cake." Really, and then I thought, okay, Marie Antoinette lost her head saying "Let them eat cake." Don't lose your head over my birthday cake, guys. And I think Marie Antoinette, and actually the real story about that was actually, it was all to do with the people back in the 1700s, it was 1752, 1757. The people are actually in the palace were saying the people have nothing but bread to eat to survive, and so I guess supposedly her response was let them eat cake. So Red Jam Slam was coming up on them. I do not know the dates. I forgot the dates and everything. That's horrible. Trust me, I screwed that up. It's actually Red Jam Slam is Society Heart of the City Festival, and I think the date
November 3rd.
November the 3rd. Yeah, November the 3rd, folks, and it's actually in one location. There's going to be a lot of people there to entertain you.
Caveman Cafe, 88 Pender Street.
Yeah, I've been there. I actually did some selling there a couple of years back. Caveman Cafe is kind of a cool place. So, anyways, we're coming to a close, folks. It's wonderful to actually have you guys here to listen in, and I'll talk to you guys next week. You guys have a fun time, and we're going to go out with my Jimmy's Breakdown, G.J. LaValle. Take care, guys. It's been wonderful to actually talk to you here, and if you actually want to get a hold of me, MétisMattersRadio@gmail.com. Take care, guys.